Welcome back to Mac Music Review. In this special video, we're actually not talking about music. We're going to be looking at my 5 best films of the decade. Not my, well, yeah, I guess it is a personal list because one of these movies specifically is not something that would be on anybody else's lists. It's just a movie that I personally really like. Before I hop into the top 5, I'm just going to hit you with some honorable mentions. Let's just hop right into it. 2 honorable mentions that I want to, well, I'll hit you with 3 honorable mentions that I want to talk about. First one is Guardians of the Galaxy. I think this is the best superhero film of this decade. I think it was really fun. The acting was really great. The characters were really great. And Marvel, what they did essentially with this movie was take these characters that no one's ever heard of, these like really deep cut, like superhero sci-fi character team that no one really cared about, and made it into some of the most beloved characters and some of the most beloved Marvel movies. Soundtrack is absolutely fantastic. Visuals are fantastic. They really created this world and threw them into it, and they kind of hop around planets. And it's just kind of a sci-fi masterpiece. I mean, it's really a really excellent film. Another honorable mention is The Social Network, which a lot of people have actually said is the best film of the decade. I'm not going to go that far, but definitely one of the best films of the decade. Jesse Eisenberg gives the performance of a lifetime in this movie, just absolutely kills his role, absolutely destroys it in this movie, just captures Mark Zuckerberg in this insanely fascinating way, and just dominates this movie. Really, really fantastic. And then the film Your Name, it's an anime film, and it's really, really fantastic. In terms of music and visuals, in terms of music, like visuals, artwork, and storytelling, plot, it's absolutely fantastic. I think the script could be better, but basically everything, like the script and the dialogue could be better, and some of the humor I think could be better. But besides that, utterly fantastic movie. Those are my honorable mentions. Now, let's hop into the 5 best films of the decade. And these are not in any particular order. I'm going to be talking about them in order of release year. But let's just hop right into it. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty is probably my all-time favorite movie. I have a very strong personal connection to The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. This film is directed by Ben Stiller, and it stars Ben Stiller. So seriously, mad props to him for, and just in terms of directing and acting on his part, absolutely fantastic. Visually, this movie is breathtaking. They actually go to like Iceland and Greenland, and they traveled around the world. And this is a film about escaping the bonds of ordinary life, of very mundane, repetitive, boring, working 9 to 5, everyday life. It's really escapism at its absolute finest, and I really, really love this movie. I never get tired of it, and I could honestly watch it right now. I love this film so much. Whiplash is the best film by Damien Chazelle. This guy has very quickly made a name for himself as one of the best directors, definitely of this decade. I would say he is the best director of this decade, but also potentially ever. Creating these 2 masterpieces, Whiplash and one other movie that we're actually going to be talking about on this list. But Whiplash is the story of Asa Butterfield. Actually, is that the name of the actor? Miles Teller, I'm sorry. Miles Teller, who is the worst actor ever. You hate his guts, but he's fantastic in this movie because he has such an ugly face. I just really don't like the actor. But he absolutely kills in this movie. J.K. Simmons plays a sadistic, evil teacher, conductor, musical instrument coach. I don't know the word for it. But, this movie is about him wanting to be the very best. And so he's trying, but he has this really abusive teacher, and he just fights through the pain. And it's an absolutely invigorating, extremely entertaining, just totally invested the entire time. Extremely intense, extremely awesome. Watch Whiplash. You will not regret it. Like I said, Damien Chazelle, he released 2 of the 5 best movies of this decade, so he's definitely the best director of this decade, I would say. This film is absolutely fantastic. La La Land is beautiful. The acting in this movie, both by Ryan Gosling, especially Emma Stone, so good. I think she won the Oscar for Best Actress in a Lead Role. Absolutely deserved it. She absolutely killed it. Ryan Gosling also did a fantastic job. This film is completely and utterly beautiful in like every single shot. Just the camera work is fantastic. There's a lot of like long shots where it like follows them, and then you have like these. The music in this movie is amazing. Just visually, it's very artsy. A lot of the different shots and a lot of the different things, and especially the sequence at the end of the movie. Movie has a truly amazing ending. This movie is extremely, extremely smart and just flips the musical on its head. All the tropes and stereotypes of the musical on its head. Absolutely fantastic movie. Definitely check this one out. This was the most hyped film of the decade. In terms of anticipation, in terms of my personal anticipation for a movie. I've never been more excited for a movie to come out and to see it in a theater. I was literally like, it's hard to describe how insanely excited I was for this film after seeing IGN give it a 10 and all these critics give it a 10 and say it's the best thing ever, and hearing how, you know, people loved it in the first showing, and it was totally lived up to the hype. This film is absolutely amazing. It's an extremely unique movie that to me just is unlike anything else I've ever seen. Joker is really, what I just gotta say is just watch it, because it's really not like, I mean, I've heard it's actually very similar to the movie Taxi Driver, which I actually haven't seen. I haven't really delved into Martin Scorsese's movies that you know, never really done that. I haven't seen a lot of his films. I've seen The Irishman, but besides that, I really haven't seen his movies. But anyway, Todd Phillips is the one that directed this. Absolutely killed it. Cinematography, music, acting are all 10 out of 10 in this movie. Definitely, you have to watch this. It's so insanely good. It's ridiculous how fantastic this movie is. Heck frickin' yes. Yes. Let's bleepin' go. Let's stink flippin' go. Yeah, let's get that Oscar, baby. Let's get that Best Picture winner. That's insane. This movie is so stinking good. Parasite, cinematography, acting, everything. This film is just awesome. One of the most original and interesting films. It's really hard, I feel like, to make an original film after, like, film has been around, like, for forever. Like, so long. Like, 100 years. Or, well, yeah. Maybe like 100 years. I'm not entirely positive. Maybe a little bit less than 100 years. Like 90, 80 years, I'm not sure. Anyway, this feels like a completely amazing breath of fresh air. Very fantastic film. It's pretty funny, but it's also extremely profound. It's very political, but not in a way that makes you like uncomfortable or makes me dislike it. It's definitely, you know, it makes you think. This movie really does make you think, and it's really an experience. Watching this movie is more, and don't watch a trailer or anything, because the trailer really did spoil an extremely important scene. So do not watch the trailer. Even if you do, you will have no idea what's going on. You will not be able to predict what direction this movie goes in. Trust me. But still, don't watch the trailer. Just watch the movie. That's all for this. I think this decade was absolutely fantastic for movies. One thing I noticed, didn't bring up any horror movies. I think Get Out was a really great horror movie. The Babadook as well, but I actually don't know what year that came out in. That probably was not the 2010s. Oops, my bad. So forget. That is a really fantastic horror movie, but, you know, there's pretty great movies this decade. I'm out of things to say. Thank you for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day.